Kush's movie review.
This week's Kush's movie review is Challengers, a movie about a bunch of rockets that all explode at the
Oh,
same time, killing
perfect.
everyone inside. It's very tragic, but it's a dark comedy starring Will Ferrell. He's so wacky.
Will Ferrell would do a comedy about the Challenger exploding.
He'd be good at it. He'd be good.
Fucking
Him
hell.
and what's his face? Who's the guy who's in Talladega Nights with him?
John McGinley.
No,
Not John
John. It is
McGinley.
John. No, it's not McKinnon.
McGinley is the other guy. Okay.
John, Jimmy,
John
James.
C. Riley.
John C. Riley. There we go. We got there eventually.
He could also be a basketball coach. I don't
Got there in the end. Anyway, Challengers. What is the actual movie about, and is it any good? Take it away, Mr. Hayes.
We're talking about the movie Challengers. It is
Said
a
that.
hard R.
I always when it right. Here's a fun fact. Right, I'm going to say this. Right, I've always said every time you say this for the past 3 years, the thing pops into my head. And but whenever you say hard R, I always feel like oh, it sounds like when like people go, oh, he used the N word, but he used the hard R. Oh, it's awkward. That's the thing that pops into my head.
Okay.
So whenever you say hard R, I always think, Jesus Christ, the language in this movie must be horrific.
As opposed to a soft accent today. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. Yo soy comprende. No, when I'm talking about a hard R, it's actually a little bit more than language. Is a full frontal male nudity. If you are
Pounding
12
hard
years
R.
old, you probably can't handle that. However, if you're an adult, I don't know why I have to make that aware for you, but yeah, there's a scene in the locker room where it's just dicks flipping around. Just nothing but
You
dicks.
want to see the dicks? You can handle the dicks.
You can't handle the dicks, apparently, some of you out there. But for everyone else who can, it's very benign. In fact, we'll come back to dicks in the locker room later. So this is a hard R, as I said, for obvious reasons. It's 2 hours and 11 minutes. Time is a big thing for me. No, I'm in. I'm in for all 2 hours and 11 minutes. What I don't like about this movie is it does a lot of time hopping. Uh, 1 year it's 20, it's the present. And then it's 3 years later. Then it's 17 years before that. It just keeps going back and forth, and it's just like I don't appreciate this. Um, However, I wouldn't cut a frame out of this. This is directed by Luca Guerra. I don't know how to pronounce this gentleman's name. However,
It's
he
a good
did
effort, though. It was a good effort.
Thank you. Thank you. He's an Italian gentleman. I think the biggest movie he's done was Call Me by Your Name, which got a bunch of Academy Award nominations like 5, 6 years ago.
With Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet, I believe one of our first introductions to him, and then Armie Hammer is the love interest.
Whatever
And that
happened
was
to
a movie
him?
about a 40-year-old man taking advantage of a 17-year-old boy, and everybody was in love with it because, well, they were in Italy. I'm just like, that's super inappropriate. I don't care what you do. Yeah. Anyways, so this guy likes to make movies about dudes kissing, and I don't care about that. That's fine. This is written by a gentleman named Justin Kurtzkis, and this is actually his feature debut, or at least this is the first script he's ever written that's gotten made into a full-length feature movie. This stars Miss Zendaya, Oakland native Zendaya, a gentleman named Mike Feist, Faist, and then Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor is actually one of your countrymen, and they're all tennis players. They're just students, or they're just ranked amateurs, but everyone is on the cusp to going professional when the timeline starts, not necessarily when the movie starts. Um, Zendaya, she's the next it girl. She's going to be the biggest tennis player ever. She's going to be bigger than the Williams sisters combined. That kind of gimmick. And then she meets these two tennis guys. We just mentioned the names. They're Art and Connor. And these guys have been roommates since boarding school since they were 11. But these dudes don't actually know any time apart from each other. And they don't know it, but they're gay as fuck. Like, they're
Wait,
trying
they
to
don't know
hide
it?
it. They're trying to resist it. But these gentlemen are very attracted to each other, and for whatever reason, they just The entire movie is just them fighting it. It's kind of crazy.
Why can't I quit you?
I don't think it's on that level. I think these guys are literally just that delusional. But anyway, so like, yeah,
Oh,
they
so
get
they're not
Zendaya.
like they're aware of it and they're trying to like fight it. It's kind of more of an internal dialogue with each other where like, oh, I really like this guy, but
I
I
mean, these two
oh,
have
I like women.
before bodily fluids were presented. These gentlemen had an intimate relationship with each other. Like they know each other's movements. They finish each other's sentences. They even chase after the same girls. Zendaya is one of those girls, and at first she's like, "All right, well, we're out of beer. Who wants to bang?" And she gets on the bed, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna bang Zendaya, great!" And she tricks them into making out with each other. And once that goes down, she's like,
Oh,
"Later, deuces." Bunch of bad words I'm not going to say, but she didn't say that either. So
oh, she didn't use the F word, did she?
no, actually
Oh, that's
no,
good.
that never
Okay.
comes up once. So that's why I retracted my joke there because she doesn't do that. But she's super duper unimpressed now. She's like, "Yeah, you guys you got to go work on that together. I got to go back home." So, anyways, she eventually blows her knee out, and then she becomes a kingmaker. Are you familiar with that term?
I didn't play chess, so
That's okay. That's it's not. I don't believe it's a chess phrase, but it's basically the wife or the secondary who's pulling all the, not necessarily pulling all the strings, but uh, uh, she ends up with Art, and Art, despite being not better than his roommate, um, ends up having the better career because she is manipulating everything. Manipulating is a strong word, but she's getting him the endorsements. She's getting him the bookings. Every piece of success this guy has is because of Zendaya's efforts behind the scenes. Because once she blows out her knee, her career is done. There's no more tennis for her. So she becomes his coach, a mentor, again, a PR agent, etc., etc., etc. Every nice thing they have is because of Zendaya. Um, Patrick, Connor, whatever, the other guy, he's living the exact opposite life. He's now going from tournament to tournament, hoping to just like if he loses, he still gets like a check for $400. So like he's not above throwing games if it means like I really need to pay the hotel bill or I blew out a tire. Like he when he needs quick cash, tennis is for some reason his only result. He went straight pro instead of like figuring things out, going to college. Um, Zendaya and the first guy both end up going to Stanford, and that's why their relationship gets so much stronger. But this guy ends up doing really well, and then he ends up becoming like the 236th best tennis player in the world. Quite,
boom.
yeah, quite a distance from top 10.
And
Um,
then 237th though.
and then he is not above whoring himself out for a place to stay. So he's like just right swiping on everybody on Tinder. He's trying to get all women, and at one point, like a dude's profile just pops up. He's like, "Bed's a bed," and he's like just scrolling through, just like he is just a degenerate and a loser. And despite neither of these guys are really good tennis players, so what I don't end up understanding is why Zendaya just didn't end up with a better tennis player. Again, the guy she marries is like not even the top 100. And the best he can do is whatever. But he's also like, I've been doing this forever, Zendaya, and I'd really just like to retire regardless of what happens next year. And then she's like, all right. She's already making plans to move on. Anyways, like my biggest complaint of this movie is the time skip. Again, we start off when they're 17, then they're 35, then they're 22, then they're 19 again. Like it just goes back and forth or whatever. I don't understand Zendaya's motivation other than just trying to be the best tennis entity. Um, but I guess to the point where like they have that scene where the three of them are on the beach and they're talking like, well, why do you play tennis? And Zendaya comes up with this whole like karate philosophy, and it's just like, all right, this is kind of corny. But I like where you're going with it still. So, anyways, challengers for as much sex as is promised in this, there ain't shit happening. Again, there's a thing in the locker room where there's just dicks flopping everywhere. If that makes you
I'm
uncomfortable,
very aroused.
um, but it's just it's nonsense. it's as uncomfortable as just being in a locker room, but you're not in a locker room. Where again, there's that one guy who does the gimmick where he's fully naked and just puts his foot up on the bench right in front of you and has a conversation. You're just like, the fuck is your problem, man? But then there's like, guys walking out of the shower, and then there's a scene where, for whatever reason, they focus on bathroom stalls, and one of them opens, and the guy is wearing a t-shirt, but no bottoms, no
Ah,
shorts, no
what a
boxers. He's just
savage.
Porky Pigging it, and I'm just like, this is wildly gratuitous, sir, but it is also just dumb. So,
I remember a friend of mine, while I was on vacation, was sharing a hotel room, and
mhm.
he walked out of the bathroom completely naked, except for a pair of socks.
For a
Like,
pair of socks. Well,
what
at least he covered
animal
up.
puts their socks on first? Put your fucking underwear on, weirdo.
Yeah.
I was more offended that if you just walked out completely naked, barefoot as well, I would have been like, oh,
Well,
come on, put that
the
away.
socks on by
But the socks
themselves.
made it like, what the fuck?
Yes. That's
So
a
many
thing where
questions.
you have to go like, what happened there?
Yeah.
Did you go to the bathroom without your fresh pair of underwear? Like, why are you just wearing socks? I would be
Ah,
I would question that too, heavily. So, anyways, I enjoyed this movie. Biggest complaint is the time skip. 4 out of 5. But this movie will be forgotten because it promises nothing, or it does not deliver what it promises. You think Zendaya is going to get Eiffel Towered at one point, and just nothing. Don't even worry about it. Forget I brought it up.
is it like based on a true story, or is it just very
No,
badly
no, I
written?
believe this is just some dude's story.
Some guy's fan fiction.
His tennis fan fiction. I did find it amusing that there are several times where they set up the pre-ritual before any tennis match, where it's like this guy might as well be contending for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like he's not ducking and weaving or whatever, but they're treating this man like a gladiator. Like he's got a physical therapist, giving him the rub down and putting him in awkward positions and like handing him his racket like it's a goddamn sword. It's like I said, I enjoyed this movie. So
You're a wrecking machine.
there you go.
Did he chase any chickens?
Good question. No, no, no.
That's a shame.
There's actually no training montage. Could have used a training montage.
Everyone loves a montage. Montage.
They do.
There you go. Challenges. A not real story about two. I don't know.
Not
To
real
be
people.
fair, what it's about tennis. Zendaya. You get to see Zendaya in it. She's pretty good.
She
Uh,
is a good looking lady.
she's still with Tom Holland.
I believe so.
Good for him. Good
Good
for
for him,
him.
right?
Good for him. So there are challenges starring Zendaya and two other fellas. 4 out of 5. Check it out if you like tennis and Zendaya.